This Rugged Ridge 304 stainless steel exhaust header is for those of you that have a 1991 to 1998 YJ or TJ with the 4.0 6-liter engine that are looking to change out your factory exhaust manifold for a header that's made out of a very high quality 304 stainless steel that you're not going to have to worry about rusting out again. Now this is going to be a 2 out of 3 wrench installation, probably going to take you a couple of hours to get done. It is a little bit involved. If you're not comfortable doing this type of installation, it's definitely okay to take your Jeep to a shop and have them do the install for you, but we'll talk more about the installation in just a second. So the big thing to note about this header is right in the title, it is 304 stainless, which is the higher quality of stainless that you'll find in automotive exhaust systems. So you're not gonna have to worry about even any surface rust on this, let alone any sort of oxidation or any rusting through that would happen if you had a mild steel or aluminized steel system. Even a 409 stainless system can get a little bit of oxidation on the surface. This 304 is going to hold up very, very well in comparison to some of those other options. Now, that does mean that this is going to be a little bit more expensive than some of those other options. This is going to be a kit that does not include your intake and exhaust gasket, so you're going to have to purchase that separately, and it's still going to be pricier than some of those other kits out there that do include your gasket because of the materials that this is made out of. Now this does also boast additional performance, being that it will flow a little bit better, but this isn't going to be something that's going to turn your Jeep into a race car all of a sudden. I wouldn't expect to get a ton of additional sound out of the exhaust with this either. This is really going to be, in my opinion, a replacement to a rotted or cracked exhaust manifold, and it's going to be a replacement that is a very high quality material, so you don't have to worry about it cracking or rusting anymore. In addition to that, this is going to be mostly for those of you that are having a rusting issue. If you're having a cracking issue, chances are it's because of the vibration and the heat that are underneath the engine bay of your Wrangler, and in order to solve that problem, a lot of companies have gone to a header that has a couple of pieces of flex built into it. You'll have a couple of these runners here that are a flex material that helps to absorb some of that vibration so you don't end up with cracking over and over again in the same place. I myself on my 98 TJ with a 4.0 have replaced the manifold 3 or 4 times now, I don't even remember, and that's not because they're rusting out, it is because they're cracking, so I've definitely gone with one that has that flex piping, and I would recommend that for those of you that are having cracking issues as well. This is going to be for those of you that don't want to have to worry about any sort of rusting issues. So the biggest thing to note is that this is 304 stainless, the highest grade of stainless steel that you're going to find in automotive exhaust systems, and it's going to be a polished system. So this is going to be, for a lot of us, is going to be the shiniest part that you're going to have on your Wrangler. It's a very nice looking piece. The most important thing about that 304 stainless is that it's not going to rust, so you're going to have this header for a good long time. As for the installation, again, 2 out of 3 wrenches, probably 2-3 hours to get this installed. If this isn't your first time installing these, you'll know what a pain they can be. It's not something that requires any sort of major modification, it's just that it's a little bit tight. There's a couple of things you have to move in order to get your old manifold out of the way and your new one installed. On top of that, this gasket that is your exhaust manifold gasket is also shared by your intake manifold gasket, because those intake runners actually go right in between the exhaust here on your straight 6. So you're going to have to remove that intake, which requires removing a couple of sensors, also removing the fuel line. You can do it with the fuel line attached, but it's easier to remove it. So a couple of other things that you have to disassemble. Once you have everything removed, so you have your intake manifold out of the way, you have the old exhaust manifold out of the way, you have to get in there and scrape your old gasket material out of the way, put your new gasket that is sold separately in place, and then go ahead and get everything bolted back up. Now, that's the process assuming that you don't have any issues with any rusted in bolts or break any bolts off in the head, because of course that is a whole nother story. So when you're working on these older vehicles, especially working on exhaust systems, they can be a little bit of a challenge. If this isn't something you want to tackle yourself, it's completely okay to take your Jeep to a shop and have them do it. But if you want to do it in your driveway, just make sure you bring your patience, have the proper tools handy, which is really just a socket set and some hand tools, and take your time with the install. This header is going to come in at right around $335. This is going to be more expensive than a lot of the other headers that you'll find on the market. Like I said before, you can find a steel header that has those flex pieces of pipe built into into it to eliminate cracking due to vibration. Also will come with additional hardware and your gaskets for half what this costs or even less. This is definitely going to be more expensive because it is this polished 304 stainless. If that's what you're looking for, I think it's a great piece. If you're just looking for something to replace your cracked manifold that is not going to crack due to vibration and heat, you can get a very complete kit for less than this. So if you're looking for an exhaust header made of a very high quality 304 stainless to replace a rusted one on your YJ or TJ, I would definitely recommend taking a look at this option here from Rugged Ridge, and you can find it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.